Hi there, I'm Kurt with Travers Tool Company. Today I'm going to talk about one particular part of the micrometer. Sometimes customers are shopping for them and they come across the different types of thimbles on them, and they are curious what the difference is between, say, a friction thimble and a ratcheting thimble, or some that have neither. So I'm going to explain that in today's video.
The first one I'm going to talk about is the one that's neither ratcheting or friction thimble. So this micrometer actually is a ratcheting thimble, but it's only this small piece back here. This part of the thimble is not. So I'm going to use this part of the thimble to demonstrate what might happen, what's likely to happen if you have neither a friction or a ratcheting thimble. So I'm just measuring a 100 thousandths block, and I'm not using the ratcheting end. I'm just using the regular thimble that's also attached to the sleeve. So let's check it out. So I know my animals are clean, my contact surfaces. So what I'm going to do, the right way to use this is you basically use your thumb and your index finger as the friction for the thimble. So as I tighten down, actually I don't tighten down, as I move the spindle down to the piece I'm measuring, I'm just sliding my fingers along the thimble, and you can see it's not turning. I'm just holding it loosely and using my fingers as a friction thimble type simulation, even though it's not. But the problem with that is maybe you just had a cup of coffee, you're a little bit stronger and more aggressive than you normally are. So watch what happens to the reading here very easily if I just turn it a little bit tighter. So I'm almost a thousandth of an inch off. And so it's easy to measure a little bit over. So here again, I'm right on the zero. You can see that the zero is right on the line, indicating that it's 100 thousandths, but just a little too much, and you're off. And honestly, in my opinion, you could get better accuracy from calipers. Okay, so since I have this micrometer, I'm going to go ahead and use the ratcheting thimble. And for that, I'm going to bring a little microphone over here. All right, take the same 100 thousandths piece. And now, rather than tightening it on the main part of the thimble, I'm going to use the ratcheting thimble. So you hear that turning? It sounds like a ratchet. That's why it's called a ratcheting thimble. But look at over here, that zero isn't moving. It'll only just turn so far, and that's how it's calibrated, or zeroed actually, is right when that ratcheting stops. And then you can also loosen it by the same little dial out here. This is an old timer, so I think I've had this for well over 40 years. So I don't think you're going to find anything like this anywhere, probably. But the ratcheting part is kind of interesting. So, which is why I brought it out of it and blew the dust off of it. This is actually the ratchet, not this. This doesn't ratchet. This little piece doesn't ratchet. That just helps you to speed up how quickly you can move it. But it's so quiet. I got it right up next to the microphone. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's the ratcheting part of the thimble. All right, here's yet another type of the ratcheting thimble, and this part is not a ratcheting thimble. This is another old timer I've had around for many, many, many years. But this part, this little knob on the back, is the ratcheting part of it. And you might be able to hear that in the video. You might need to turn your volume up a little bit. But that's where that works. Okay, so I'm going to keep the microphone here, but we're not going to need it. I'm just going to keep it here kind of for proof. Okay, here's a very inexpensive, probably the most economy grade micrometer you can buy. And this is a friction thimble. So I'm turning that thimble. You can see I'm turning it, but that zero is not moving. It's staying right put. Now this is not a friction thimble. It's just a part of it. Where's my little, there it is. Okay. So to do that again, there it is, right on the zero every single time. So all of these, whether they're ratcheting or friction, when you back it off, it'll lock in and you'll be able to unscrew it. But when you clamp down on something, it'll just slip. So that's very nice, even for a really inexpensive micrometer. Here's one that I've had around for a few years, not quite 40 probably, but again, it's a friction thimble, and you're not hearing anything in that microphone. I almost said micrometer. So only the center part is the actual friction thimble. This part is not. So this turns with the sleeve. So there again, that's the ratcheting, and every single time that's going to be right on the zero. Whoops, I keep on dropping it. There it is. And finally, just one more. I'm going to try here, right up next to the micrometer. And there it is. That's a friction thimble. So you can see that zero is right on. Moving it away, putting it back in, right on again. And again. So something I like about this one is both, whoops, there we go. Both parts of the thimble, so the little part and the bigger part, are friction. So you can use the smaller one or the bigger one. I like that micrometer. So as you might be able to tell from the things I've said, my personal favorite is the friction. Is it more accurate than the ratcheting thimble? No, absolutely not. But it just feels smoother. You know, you can't hear it in the microphone, which is right. I mean, not even an inch away. It just feels smoother. So does it make a difference? No. My personal preference, though, regardless, is the friction. I won't use a micrometer that has neither friction or ratcheting. I just don't trust myself to that level. I might be a little bit harder on it one time than some other time and get different readings. So again, this is my personal favorite out of the bunch I've been comparing today. But I'll tell you what, for the money, that one's a pretty tough competitor for the price. It's only got that part of it as a friction. But anyway, there we go. That's the comparison. I hope that this video was helpful to you and your shopping is easier and you understand more about the micrometers and what might be the personal preference for you. If you have an opportunity, just ask around, go to a store that has both of them. We'd love to see you at our South Carolina branch, which is where I'm located. And you can try them out and see which one you like the best. Just because I like the friction thimble the best doesn't mean you will. So try them all out. And thanks for watching.